Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. Well, Friday night, what happened? Philadelphia had a plane crash. This was somebody who just had a successful medical procedure that was on the way home with a medical team in an airplane. Crashed in downtown Philadelphia. There would be people that were killed. One person was killed on the ground. These 6 killed. Just so damn sad. This obviously has nothing to do with the crash at D.C., but it's just sad. Trump tariffs are already paying off. You ready for this? Just reported Mexico's agreed to send 10,000 troops to the border in exchange for a tariff pause. Let's see what Justin Trudeau decides to do.
The February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
Meanwhile, Trump signed an executive order on school choice. Good for him. Panama. Marco Rubio has already had another success. He went down to Panama, and Panama says they will rescind their deals that they've had with China on the Panama Canal, clearly recognizing that we can't let China control the Panama Canal. Walmart is decreasing all food prices back to pre-inflation rates. You think that would have happened but not for Trump in some way? Good for Walmart. Musk, can't make this up, the Department of Government Efficiency got access to the federal payment system, makes sense to me, and said that it is a wreck. Can you imagine the money going in all kinds of different directions, nobody checking it out? Good old Elon's on top of it. China, they're filing a complaint to the World Trade Organization in response to our tariffs. We'll see what happens. Nothing. China is apparently building a military command center like 10 times as big as the Pentagon. Gee, I don't know about this guy. And you know how bad the Democratic Party is and which direction they're going? David Hogg was voted vice chair of the DNC. And there's a video clip circulating how they have to have in these different positions a man, a female, a non-binary person. I mean, they're not changing, folks. The inmates are running the asylum, as the expression used to go. DC air crash update, they've got the black box, and we're seeing what's going, and it looks like the helicopter was flying too high. FBI Purge is happening. As of today, they're going to whack, figuratively, all of those FBI agents involved in the Trump lawfare. Go get them. And Mitch McConnell sat down for 60 Minutes. I couldn't bear to watch it. He says that he is going to support most of what Trump's going to do. And word is he is a no vote on RFK Jr. We'll see what happens. 7,400 influencers applied to be in the new press room in Washington, D.C. I was going to go do that, too, for Eric Deters Media. If it's not too late, maybe I should. And Jeffries, the leader of the minority in the House, says, fight in the streets, fight in the streets. See what I said? Nothing is changing. Coming up next, Eric Deters Local News. Here we go with local news. Judge Richard Brueggemann, a circuit judge in Boone County, Kentucky, has thrown out the entire Union Commission candidate, saying that under the law, he couldn't give them a special election. The only remedy he could is throw them all out. So guess what? They all got to be appointed. The mayor's going to be appointing them. That's going to be interesting. Kentucky retirement. You ready for this? Of 50 states. Remember, Bashir acts like everything's just so wonderful in the old KY. We're the last. We're the worst state to retire in out of 50 states. That's awful. Gold Star Chili is giving away about $30,000 worth of product. Gold Star. I haven't had Gold Star in a long time. There's not as many around as there used to be. In the Bavarian Landhill, owned by the Brueggemann family, Jim Brueggemann, 461 acres out there on the old garbage dump road. Apparently it's filled, and he needs more property, more land. Folks, you got to have some place to put the garbage. Coming up next, Jamie Spindley in the World News.
Thank you, Eric. Let's see what's going on in the latest world news. Severe flooding in northern Queensland, Australia has killed one person and forced thousands to evacuate. Authorities warn that floodwaters will continue to rise, creating a life-threatening situation. Since Friday, over 39 inches of rain have fallen. With record-breaking rainfall expected to continue, experts say this could be the worst flooding the region has seen in over 60 years. President Trump has announced that the US will impose trade tariffs on the European Union goods. This follows new tariffs of 25% on imports from Canada and Mexico and 10% on goods from China, set to begin tomorrow. When asked about the EU, Trump confirmed the tariffs were certain, but hinted that a trade deal with the United Kingdom might still be negotiated. And a car explosion on the outskirts of Syria killed at least 15 people, including 14 women and 1 man. Another 15 women were injured in the blast, according to local civil defense officials. The explosion occurred on a major roadway, but authorities have not yet confirmed who was responsible. That's all I have for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Up next, Sports Without Boundaries.
Well, Sports Without Boundaries begins with the terrible loss of University of Kentucky to Arkansas. Painful, painful, painful. Mark Pope said that his players were suffering. John Calipari was gracious in his victory. And he had he goes, him and Thero looked up at the scoreboard a couple of times and thought they were losing because they're used to look at the Kentucky scoreboard. Calipari was gracious in victory. Folks, I was worried about this because I knew Calipari's players, 3 of whom played at UK, really wanted to play well for him, and they did. NFC, AFC, I watched some of this. It was entertaining. I can tell you right now, NFC beat the AFC for the 3rd year in a row. Eli Manning's team over Peyton's. It was entertaining. I tell you right now, it's more entertaining than watching the old Pro Bowl. University of Kentucky plays Ole Miss tomorrow at Ole Miss. Fay Vincent, one of the Pete Rose's nemesis, baseball commissioner 3 years, have died. We usually say rest in peace. I'll say rest in hell to Fay Vincent. Pete Carroll's the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, and Chip Kelly is bolting Ohio State to join him as the offensive coordinator. And De'Aaron Fox, the UK product, has been traded to the Antonio Spurs to hook up with Winnabomme. I tell you right now, the Spurs are back. And Luka Doncic traded straight up for Anthony Daniels to the LA Lakers. An earth-shattering trade. I like Luka. And last but not least, Kellen Moore is believed to be the front runner for the New Orleans Saints job. He's currently the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, going to the Super Bowl this Sunday. Coming up next, pop culture. All right, here we go with pop culture. The Grammys were last night. Consistent with my past, I don't watch any of these shows anymore. They became unbearable. And the Grammys are no exceptions. My wife watched them, said they were good. I walked in and out of the room some, and I saw a little bit of it, but I'm not in the Grammys. Beyonce won for Best Country Music Album. Now, I want to tell you something. Her song, Texas Hold'em, it's a good song. It really is. I like it. Kanye and Bianca kicked out when they got there because she's nearly naked. That outfit. They got kicked out. Kanye got kicked out. It was kind of funny, too, because when Beyonce won her award, Taylor Swift gave it. Remember the famous Kanye grabbing the microphone away? And Will Smith got some mic time. But his son Jaden showed up with a castle on his head. By the way, I'm going to Google this on the way here. Sabrina and Jamie, did Will Smith ever apologize to Chris Rock?
I have no idea.
I'm curious about that. And Texas is the place to go to movies. Matthew McConaughey and good old Woody Harrelson says, let's go to Texas. Hey, Woody. Hey, Matthew, I'm all for the Butcher of Pakistan being filmed in Texas. And Russell Brand has moved his family to the United States. This is exactly what Jamie Spindley, a fellow Brit, said about Russell Brand, is a wanker. Why? Because he got religion and loves Trump and came to the United States? Why do you say he's a wanker?
Because I've never liked him from day one, and he's arrogant and he's cocky and he's full of himself.
He was that way. That was his persona, but he's changed. I like him. I even liked him back then. He was funny. Do you ever see that movie with, oh, goodness gracious. He plays a rock star, goes to Hawaii, steals a guy's girlfriend. Funnier than hell. Really, Katy Perry?
I like her.
Katy Perry's a handful. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. You have a great day. Do not be a wayward cockered strumpet like Mr. Spindley for calling Russell Brand a wanker.